Hello, today in this video I'm going to teach you all how to play Geo. Geo is a multiplayer card game that has a fun geometric twist on the classic game Uno. Geo is a great game to play in class to help students practice computing areas of different polygons, identify shapes based on different properties, make connections between shapes and their different properties, practice integer multiplication, reason mathematically, and build problem-solving skills. Geo also covers Michigan math standards such as finding the area of right triangles, other triangles, special quadrilaterals, and polygons, and classifying two-dimensional figures into categories based on their properties. The objective of Geo is to be the first player to discard all of the cards in your hand. In order to play this game, you will need one deck of Geo cards, which are linked in the description below, along with a handout of the rules. Before we go over gameplay, let's look at all the types of cards you will encounter when playing Geo. Included in Geo are 4 distinct shapes. That is, triangles, trapezoids, parallelograms, and kites. Note that Geo goes by the exclusive definition of a trapezoid. That means a trapezoid only has one set of parallel sides and is different from a parallelogram. Now let's go over the 4 special action cards you will encounter when playing. The first special action card is the skip card. The skip card will have a circle with a line going through it and the name of a shape written in the top and bottom corners. When a player places this card, the next player has to skip their turn. This card can only be played on a card that matches the shape written on the top and bottom corners or on another skip card. The next special action card is the reverse card. The reverse card will have 2 arrows on it and the name of a shape written in the top and bottom corners. When a player places this card, the direction of the play is switched. That is, if you're going clockwise, switch to counterclockwise, and vice versa. If you're playing with 2 players, a reverse card acts like a skip card. This card can only be played on a card that matches the shape written on the top and bottom corners, or on another reverse card. The next special action card is the Draw 2 card. The Draw 2 card will have 2 cards on it and the name of a shape written in the top and bottom corners. When a player places this card, the next player will have to pick up 2 cards and forfeit their turn. It can only be played on a card that matches the shape written in the top and bottom corners, or on another Draw 2. The last special action card is the command card. The command card will have the word command written on the top and bottom corners, along with a sentence in the middle. When a player places this card, the next player must place a card that follows the command written. This means only a shape card can be played, no other special action cards. If the next player cannot play a card, they may draw and play it if they are able to, otherwise their turn ends and the player after must follow the command card. This card can be placed no matter the card played previously. To start, the dealer shuffles the deck and deals cards to each player. If you're playing with 4 or more players, deal 5 cards to each player, otherwise deal 7 cards. Next, place the remaining cards face down in the middle of the table. This will be our draw pile. Finally, flip over the top card of the draw pile and place it face up next to it. This is our discard pile. If the top card of the draw pile was a special action card, place it back into the deck randomly and turn over the next card. To start, the player to the left of the dealer is the first player and continues clockwise. During each person's turn, you have 2 options. The first option is to place a card in your hand into the discard pile. You may only play a card into the discard pile if it matches the top card. To match the card, it must be the same shape or the same area. After placing a card, the player must state the area of the shape they placed. Then their turn ends and continues to the next player. Players may also play a special action card when they are able to. The second option is to pick up a card from the draw pile. If you're able to play the card you draw, you may play it and your turn ends. If you're unable to play the card you pick up, it is added to your hand and your turn ends. When a player only has 1 card left, they must say Geo. If another player says Geo before they do, they must pick up another card from the draw pile. Players must announce Geo every time they reach 1 card in their hand. The game ends when a player has discarded all of their cards. The player who empties their hand first is the winner. If you want to make things more interesting, here are a few different ways you can play Geo. 1. Draw 2 cards may be stacked. This means if a player plays a draw 2 card, the next player may also play a draw 2 card if they have one in their hand. Thus, the next player draws 4 cards and forfeits their turn. Draw 2 cards may be stacked as many times as possible. 2. When players are unable to discard a card in their hand, they must draw a card from the draw pile until they are able to place one. Feel free to also add a limit. For example, draw until you are able to play a card or until you draw 5 cards. 3. Allow players to place a parallelogram when the current shape is a trapezoid. 4. Use the blink command cards included in the handout linked below and create new commands that highlight shape properties or area formulas you want your students to practice. Create these cards beforehand or with your class. Players begin by dealing 7 cards to each player since there are 3 people playing. Then they create a draw pile and then turn over the top card to make a discard pile. In this scenario, the top card is a parallelogram with an area of 15. So player 1 must either play a parallelogram, a shape with an area of 15, or a special action card if they are able to. Player 1 decides to play a parallelogram and ends their turn by stating its area, 24. Now it is player 2's turn. They may either play a parallelogram or a shape with an area of 24. They don't have any parallelograms in their hand, but thankfully they have a triangle with an area of 24. They play this card and end their turn by stating the area, 24. Now it is player 3's turn. They don't have any triangles or shapes with an area of 24, so they pick up 1 card from the draw pile. They pick up a command card, and so they play it. The command card states, play a shape that has at least 1 set of parallel sides. Now it is player 1's turn again. They must follow the command card, so they play a trapezoid with an area of 36 since it has at least 1 set of parallel sides. They end their turn by stating the area, 36. Now it is player 2's turn again. They must either play a trapezoid or a shape with an area of 36. They have a draw 2 trapezoid card that they play to try and increase the amount of cards player 3 has. Player 3 then picks up 2 cards and ends their turn. Now it is player 1's turn, and they can either play a draw 2 or a trapezoid card. They don't have either of these though, so they pick up a card from the draw pile. They can't play the card they picked up, so their turn ends. The players continue playing, slowly discarding the cards they have in their hand. It is now player 3's turn. They may either play a kite or a shape with an area of 48. They have a kite skip card, so they play this to skip player 1, who only has 2 cards left. Now player 3 has 1 card left and states Geo to avoid having to pick up another card. It is now player 2's turn. They can either play a kite or a skip card. They know that player 3 only has 1 card left, so they play a kite reverse card in order to avoid their turn from happening. Since the play was reversed, it is now player 1's turn. They can either play a kite or a reverse card. They have no cards they can play, so they pick up a card. They are also unable to play this card, so their turn ends. Now it is player 3's turn. They must play either a kite or a reverse card. Luckily, they have a kite card with an area of 16. They play it and state the area, and they have emptied their hand. The game ends, and player 3 wins. Thanks for watching. Remember to check the description for the link to any materials necessary to play Geo. Have fun playing!